the metaverse is very interesting because I think every couple of years or every year there's like a new buzzword in tech, right? And everybody uses the buzzword, and no one really, cares to really explain so that everybody is on the same page as to what the definitions are. So the metaverse, plain and simple, is like an extension of our reality. So in a sense, you're creating a virtual space for people who are not in the same physical space to be able to have interactions. For instance, right now, I am not in the same studio as you are, but in a digital, we can create a digital environment where we actually share the same digital space, where my avatar, or a digital version of me, and your avatar, a digital version of you, can actually be in a digital studio, and then we can have interactions in that digital studio. So within the specific context of what Facebook is trying to do, that's the metaverse. That's their version of the metaverse. Now, there isn't one metaverse. There isn't one type of metaverse. You can see different adaptations in the crypto space, for instance, or in the gaming space. But with regards to what Facebook is trying to do specifically, and with extended reality, this is the part of the metaverse that concerns them.
So I assume this will involve, if not entirely, but for the most part, virtual and augmented reality.
Yes. So Facebook has already made an investment in a virtual reality platform, Oculus. They make VR headsets. They bought the company in 2014. So that was a very indication that this is the direction that they are moving. So yes, it involves virtual reality, augmented reality, mixed reality, which in that broad area is called extensive.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, and so what does this mean for the future of not just technology but social interaction?
So what it really means, to be honest, we'll just scratch the surface. I think where we'll really find out the use cases for the metaverse is not going to be something we find out in the next year or in the next couple of years. What we can say right now is where is the metaverse being, what are the implementations that we currently have, and then we can go off from there.
Okay.
So one implementation that is pretty popular right now is the video game space, right? So we have games like Fortnite, for instance, where users take their avatars and do interesting things. They interact. They buy different items for the avatar. They buy different virtual products, and they spend virtual money. So that is one adaptation of the metaverse that we're already seeing happening live. We're also seeing a similar adaptation in the crypto space. People with NFTs, for instance, that's another word, where people are buying digital art or just digital pieces, and they're creating their own avatars in that space and creating what we have now in the physical world. But you do get the sense that as we go along, we'll find more use cases for the metaverse that are more relevant to actual human interaction and social interaction. For now, there are limited use cases, and in our day-to-day life, we have not really, me and you may not see a use for that as at now, but maybe in the next 10 years or 15 years it might.
And do you think Africa has anything to benefit from all of this, on more specifically Nigeria?
Oh yes, so that's actually very interesting. So because this is very new, a lot of it is very new. Not every part is very new. I think what I found interesting with Facebook's move towards the metaverse was the fact that they are also bringing in local partners. So they're an investment, I think was a $50 million investment in local partners, not just in Africa, but in other parts of the world. And I think their initial partners, they've selected a Nigerian company called UniC3D. UniC3D, they are a company that plays in that space, in that virtual reality, augmented reality space. So from my reading of the situation, you want to create an authentic African experience, So they're also collaborating with media companies. So companies, create stories, the narrative around Africa. So my reading of the situation is that Facebook is trying to have local partners that also understand how you can create the physical version of Africa. So you don't want somebody who has never been to Lagos, for instance, to paint a picture of. So yes, we are seeing Africa playing an important role, some sort of role. Another thing that Facebook has done recently, investing in a submarine cable called to Africa.
Okay.
That is supposed to be when it's done, it's going to be the longest submarine cable in the world, and so it's going to has many touch points in Africa as well.
Okay.
So they are putting Africa as part of the metaverse, and so many local partners, because in that cable they also have local partners with the telcos. So and there will be a lot of companies in Africa that will benefit.
Okay. And I don't know if you've read the book or seen the film Ready Player One.
Ready Player One.
Yes. Have you seen that? So the premise of the book and the film is essentially a group of people have subscribed to like a virtual world where they put on their virtual reality sets and they are immersed in it, and there's a game where they can win a lot of money and they fight, and it becomes like a dystopian reality in a sense. And I wonder if you think if this metaverse comes into fruition, I wonder what dangers you think it poses.
That's great. I mean, so yeah, no, I haven't watched the movie, but it's interesting that you say that, because the whole concept of the metaverse actually came from sci-fi movies. So pretty much the origin of the metaverse. So yeah, but what could go wrong, right? The interesting thing for Facebook is that at this point in time, Facebook is itself being hit by a lot of attacks on what they're already doing as a social media platform. What kind of society are they creating online? So a lot of there are a lot of people who believe that even them shifting the conversation to the metaverse is sort of a distraction from people asking those hard questions. So as we are moving into the metaverse, there are some hard questions again that we need to ask in terms of privacy. I think the most obvious one from an African standpoint is there's already a digital divide.
Exactly. And so where does regulation come in all of this? Do you envision a global regulator, or do you think countries will have to regulate by themselves, if at all?
Yes, so I think Facebook is already asking for regulators to come in. So they're having an inclusive approach. Come and take a look at what it is that we're doing. I think the thing with innovation is that innovation routinely precedes regulation. So I think this is going to happen again, where we're going to go into this space and realize, wait, this isn't really, all just rainbows and butterflies. There are some things here that we don't like. So I think the regulation there'll be regulation at the country level, obviously, but then obviously these platforms end up having to self-regulate because they will move much faster than regulators to catch up with them.
Okay, and finally, I just want to get your personal opinion on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being most excited and 1 being least excited. How excited are you about the metaverse, and why?
I'll go with a 9.
Okay.
Because I see the metaverse as the extension of the internet as we know it. So it's the same thing in the 90s where the internet was coming. Like if you Google some of the negative quotes about the internet, people are skeptical. Like people in the mid 90s that didn't actually think that the internet will get as big as it is. So I believe in the next few decades, this is the next extension of the internet, this virtual reality space. But I'm also going to take it with a pinch of salt because it could be a bubble, at the end of the day. Not the prediction that we have made actually came into fruition. I think the best example is to go back again to Facebook. I mean, a few years ago, Facebook had made all this noise about launching the Libra, this digital currency, and then, but today, there is no discussion about the Facebook Libra. It's lost steam. So we don't know what could happen, whether this could actually be a bubble similar to the Libra. So I'll just take it with a pinch of salt, but 9 is where I'm at for now.
Okay. All right. Awesome.